These challenges, in our opinion, seem to have overwhelmed our security institutions.
The governors are supposed to be the state security officers of their state.
There is need for us to at least engage the traditional rulers.
We need to do something about our porous borders.
We have to own it from the unit level to the ward level to the local government to state.
Mr. President, the importance of today for us is for us to take action.
Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Hello and welcome to the program Inside the Senate, bringing you news and events from the Red Chamber in the National Assembly. The Senate is on its annual recess. During this period, we will come your way with reviews of some of its interventions in the form of bills and motions which it took to resolve some of the challenges facing the nation. At the same time, our crew is on ground to also catch any unfolding event and report to you. Along this line last week, the Senate Committee on Electoral Matters held a Zonal Colloquium and Sensitization on the Electoral Act 2022 and the conduct of the upcoming 2023 general elections. This was on Tuesday the 9th and Wednesday the 10th of August 2022. Details of this sitting are contained in this episode of the program. In our review, we shall take a look at some of the motions and bills as well as resolutions taken by the Senate on the matter of insecurity. Do stay tuned for details of these after the short break. Don't go away.
The Senate to send a message to the President
To reap opportunities from that.
To raise a matter of urgent public importance. And we are aware that when this particular motion comes up
For a longer term development,
arise to second the motion.
Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Welcome back. One matter of utmost importance right now on the front burner of Nigeria's entire system is the 2023 general elections. The Senate is not resting on its oars in its efforts to see to its success come 2023. One of the most recent efforts is a two-day zonal sensitization and candidate colloquium on the Electoral Act 2022 and the conduct of the 2023 general elections, organized by the Senate Committee on Electoral Matters. This was on Tuesday 9th and Wednesday the 10th of August 2022 at the Nikon Luxury Hotel. For a report of how this went, submissions made and papers presented, let's take our first report on the program as compiled and presented from our studio.
An area council shall stand dissolved at the expiration of period.
Stakeholders took turns to make presentations on Wednesday, the 10th of August 2022. One of them, the INEC's Commissioner for Information and Voters Education, Barrister Festus Okoye's submission, was on the personal voters cards (PVC) issued to voters.
The PVC that we have issued to register voters, and I'm talking to some of you as politicians, does not expire, has no expiration date. The data, the name, the face, the fingers of registered voters is no longer here. It is inside the BVAS. And the BVAS contains only the names, photographs, and fingerprints of people registered in a particular polling unit. So no BVAS will have the data of a registered voter from any other polling unit, except that particular polling unit where it has been configured.
One of the stakeholders gave recommendation on what he expects in the next electoral amendment, particularly on how to curb the abuse of the power of incumbency.
I am recommending that in the next electoral amendment, let every incumbent governor and president that want to recontest step down. If he do well, maybe he will win. This power of incumbency, the person will be there campaigning using the same government money, and there are some certain things that they say immunity cover them, and because of that, a lot of things are going wrong. It's a recommendation anyway.
The Executive Director of Women and Girl Child Development Initiative commended INEC for its effort at reaching out to women in its activities.
I want to appreciate INEC for its efforts to make sure that no one is left behind in this process. especially if you are up to the age of 18 and above.
The final speaker at the colloquium was Yetunde Dakore, a representative of Yaga Africa, a civil society organization. She spoke on vote buying, particularly as it occurred during a recent election in Nigeria.
Osun, yes, there was widespread vote buying in Osun State. And we also saw that EFCC was there to make some arrests. But as a civil society organization, we do not interfere in the process. We are just there to observe the process of the conduct of the election. It is a criminal offense, and anyone who engages in vote buying, both the buyer and the seller, should be prosecuted within the ambit of the law.
Earlier Tuesday, the 9th of August 2022, the chairman of the Senate Committee on Electoral Matters, Senator Kabiru Gaya, who led the colloquium, described it as a forum to enable stakeholders discuss technical issues relating to the Electoral Act 2022 to ensure that the 2023 general elections are free, fair, and credible. On her part, the chairman of the House of Representatives Committee on Electoral Matters, Representative Aisha Tuduku, advised on the need for concerted awareness creation efforts that will ensure the active participation of more than 80% of registered voters in the nation's electoral processes. INEC's chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, in his submission, gave the timetable of the 2023 general election, released on Saturday the 26th of February 2022 as follows. Presidential and National Assembly elections, Saturday the 25th of February 2023, as well as gubernatorial and states houses of assembly elections, Saturday the 11th of March 2023. The event was an avenue for productive deliberations, at the end of which it was agreed by stakeholders that the colloquium should be held regularly with a view to updating stakeholders and citizens alike by giving more knowledge on electoral matters in Nigeria.
That was a report on the two-day colloquium which held in Abuja last week, organized by the Senate Committee on Electoral Matters. Inside the Senate, we'll continue with a review of motions and bills considered to tackle the matter of insecurity in Nigeria. But before then, let's take a break to open the Senate notebook. Keep watching.
A joint session of the National Assembly is when the entire senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and honorable members of the House of Representatives sit together in the chamber of the House to be addressed by a national or an international dignitary on a subject matter. At the national level, it could be the President addressing the joint session on the national budget of a given year or on any other matter as the case may be, while at the international level, it could be the president of another country. In the case of the presentation of budget of a given year by Mr. President, the budget is deemed to have been read the first time immediately it is presented. A joint session may also hold to receive a foreign president, head of state, or the head of parliament of another country.
Welcome back. As I mentioned before we opened the notebook, the program will continue with a review of motions, bills and actions taken by the Senate in confronting the challenges of insecurity facing the nation. As it were, senators from different parts of the country have had cause to report this challenge in different forms as it affects their constituencies. Let's take some of these motions, resolutions on them, as well as the resultant action by the Senate. The report is compiled and presented from our studio.
Most of the motions on insecurity reported acts of banditry or terrorism in various communities, cutting across states of the country, from killings of minors to attack on communities, as well as kidnappings.
A group of minors, women and men, were attacked and 8 of them were gruesomely killed by assailants. And this incident, Mr. President, has thrown my constituency into a mourning mood, particularly the Kuru community of Jos South, where this attack and assassination of our citizens took place.
On 30th of March 2021, over 18 indigenes of Egedeged, Obego, and Amazu communities in each local government area of Ogun State, including a priest, were gruesomely murdered in cold blood by rampaging herdsmen.
About 42 communities across the 2 local government areas of Shiroro and Munya local government have so far fallen under the Boko Haram control. I can authoritatively confirm that the Boko Haram terrorists have mounted their flags in many of the villages they have captured, such as Aure, Alawa, and Magami.
Many of their victims have been men, while women, both old and young, are raped and dehumanized. The unfortunate incidents where school children at the Federal Government College, Yauri, were kidnapped, and to date, more than 10 captives. The female among them were said to have been married to the bandits, and reportedly 3 are said to have been released to their parents after having been allegedly impregnated by their captives.
A major security breach was the terrorist attack on a Kaduna-bound train from Abuja on Monday, the 28th of March 2022. A motion on this was brought under matters of urgent public importance by Senator Ubasani.
The train derailed after the first wave of attacks. Grenades and RPG were used. They rained bullets on all the coaches. Some passengers were killed, while many sustained bullet wounds. There are reports that some of the passengers were abducted.
One of the women seated with a baby in her arms in that ill-fated train was calling for mercy. She had an aged mother by her side and was pleading that she came only for medical attention. She brought the mother on medical attention in Abuja, and that was what brought them here. And she was pleading for mercy. Instead of giving mercy, Mr. President, she had her head shattered.
Kaduna has become the new theater. And Kaduna is where the highest military institutions are housed. Mr. President, I would want to believe that by now it would have been enough time for serious action to have been taken, because this bandit, from all the attacks, seems they are localized in a particular place.
In the whole country, the issue of Kaduna State is the worst. I did mention this some other time. I said all of us seated here, one day they will finish us. They will finish us because they will start looking after us, running after us.
Senators who contributed at various times also had different experiences or preferred solutions to the problem of insecurity.
This is becoming very, very worrisome. That a country that goes about says that is under the rule of law, that issues of this nature keep repeating themselves on daily basis.
I represent Niger North. In Niger North, Mariga local government is also in constant attack. The animals, most of the people around there are herders, farmers. They are being driven away. And sadly, a case in point is when you look at the presence of a military formation in Kontagoro town, their land is said to extend into Mariga local government. They've driven all the farmers around that area. In contrast, the bandits have now occupied those areas.
How do these bandits get ammunitions? We have to look into that. It must come through some sources here in Nigeria. And I wonder what the Air Force can do. Why can't they fly their planes and identify these areas?
I think the time has come now that the Senate or the National Assembly will strictly follow the budget of members of the armed forces, particularly those ones that were specifically earmarked
for the purchase of new equipment. I'm always afraid when people stand up here and said that the bandits, those ill-trained human beings, ragtag soldiers that are better than the members of the armed forces, is not true. Something is wrong somewhere. It's either the right thing has not been done, or there's a connivance somewhere that we cannot sit down here and explain.
Resolutions taken by the Senate during this debate are geared towards ending acts of terrorism and banditry. They included a call on the Chief of Army Staff and the Inspector General of Police to establish permanent security installations at the affected areas. Call on the President to deploy the military and other security agencies to conduct rigorous operations that will end banditry in the affected local government areas, as well as urge the Army and Air Force to carry out sustained bombardment of terrorist enclave with a view to flushing them out, amongst others. The Senate has also at various times interacted with security chiefs to get to the root of the matter, always indicating its willingness to join hands with security agencies towards ending the menace. And having identified one of the causes of insecurity to be the proliferation of various types of firearms, the Senate considered the Firearms Act 2004, Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2022, sponsored by Senator Sani Musa and presented for second reading on Tuesday, the 8th of February 2022. Senator Sani Musa, while leading the debate on the bill, said that out of the 500 million firearms in circulation in the West African sub-region, 350 million, representing 70%, are found in Nigeria.
The purpose of this bill, therefore, is to enhance the constitutional right to life and bodily integrity, prevent the proliferation of illegally possessed firearms, and by providing for the removal of those firearms from society, and by improving control over legally possessed firearms to prevent crime involving the use of firearms.
In supporting the bill, one of the lawmakers solicited more focus on the local manufacturing of firearms.
We are losing the fact that there's a very, very significant firearm manufacturing industry in Nigeria, focused on manufacture of local Dane guns. Anybody that has seen our vigilantes in action will see the very long barrel Dane guns that they carry. But what is more worrying, Mr. President, is that we have had instances where some of those manufacturers have adapted the capacity to manufacture more deadly weapons.
After second reading, the bill was referred to the Committee on Security and Intelligence as well as Judiciary for further work.
You are watching Inside the Senate, and we have been reviewing some of the actions taken by the Senate in considering the matter of insecurity. As we saw, a bill was considered to regulate the proliferation of firearms. After the bill was read a second time, it was committed to a committee for further work. Acting on this, the committee held a public hearing on Thursday, the 17th of March 2022. Senate President Ahmad Lawan, who was represented by the Deputy Minority Whip, declared the hearing open.
The easy supply of arms had enamored the actors across the borders through a network of sustained supplies chain. State actors have been challenged. State actors have been challenged, even though several interdictions, apprehension, and sanctioning have been recorded from different fronts. We have been called upon to do more because of dynamism.
Also speaking, the committee chairman explained that the bill is necessitated by the grievous and precarious activities of Boko Haram, bandits, and kidnappers alongside other notorious gangs.
The commission, when established, will be able to mop up significant number of illegal small arms and allied weapons, thereby bringing peace in the country, which will invariably translate to growth and development of this nation.
Stakeholders made submissions at the hearing.
The penalty in this bill is insufficient to ensure deterrence and enforcement in the event of breach. The possession of weapons without a legal authorization is punishable by a prison term of 2 years or a fine of 1 million naira or both. I suggest that this should be increased by a first offender, 5 years imprisonment and a fine of 5 million naira.
The bill should also seek to capture the most essential elements or component parts of the ECOWAS Convention. And it will be our joy to see that we have a commission to be at par with other ECOWAS member states.
After more contributions in support of the bill, the committee at the end promised to compile a report of all the submissions for presentation to Senate plenary for more legislative actions. This was eventually done on Tuesday, the 26th of July 2022, when the committee presented its report.
The bill is of great importance to the security and continued existence of this nation. In view of the urgent need to address our present state of insecurity in the country, and the anticipated benefits to be derived from the bill, the committee recommends as follows: that the Senate do consider and approve the National Commission for the Coordination and the Control of the Proliferation of Small Arms and the Light Weapons Establishment, etc., Bill 2022.
The report was then considered clause by clause in the Committee of the Whole, leading to the third reading and the passage of the bill. When signed into law by the President, the Commission would be established with the mandate of mopping up all firearms from illegal custody, amongst other mandates. Our profile segment is next. Stand by for our Senator of the Week.
Senator Theodore A. Orji was born in 1950 in Umuahia in today's Abia State. He attended Santa Cross Secondary School, Olokoro, as well as Holy Ghost College, Owerri, Abia State, for his West African School certificate. He attended the University of Ibadan, where he earned a Bachelor of Arts degree in English in 1977. He did his national service as a teacher at Government Secondary School Shinkapi in Isa local government area of Sokoto State in 1978. Thereafter, Senator Theodore Orji took appointment in the civil service of the then Imo State, where he held various positions from 1979 to 1981. He joined the Abia State Civil Service on its creation in 1981 and served till 1999, retiring to join politics. In 2006, he contested as governor under the Progressive People's Alliance (PPA) and won, serving from 2007 to 2011 and from 2011 to 2015, having won again on the platform of the PDP. Senator Theodore Orji contested to the Senate in the 2015 general elections and won to represent Abia North Senatorial District under PDP. He won again in the 2019 general elections. In the Red Chamber, he is chairman, Senate Committee on Privatization, and a member of several other committees. Senator Theodore Orji holds the National Award of the Commander of the Order of the Niger (CON), as well as many traditional titles. His legislative interests include promotion of local manufacturing, infrastructural development, and education.
This brings us to the end of the program this week. Join us again for another fresh edition, and thanks for watching.